in incredible times.
We are the sector of sectors.
Artificial intelligence, big data will be the future of our industries, all industries.
Countries that are going to thrive are the ones that have that ability to get technology and produce technology.
We need to make artificial intelligence human.
Everything is and will be connected.
Well, hello and welcome to this special LinkedIn Live broadcast from the GSMA in partnership with TelcoDR. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the last 12 months, you'll be aware that our guest today is on a mission to shake up the traditional operator business model. I am delighted to be joined by Danielle Royston, founder and CEO of TelcoDR and acting CEO of Totogi. Danielle, or DR, as you're better known, welcome to the show. Good to see you.
Hey, Justin, how are you doing?
I am very well. It's good to see you again. I don't think we've spoken since a big show last summer.
Yeah, we're gearing up for another one. So yeah, it's great to see you. So thanks for having me today.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us, DR. Well, DR and I are going to be talking for about the next 20 minutes or so on the subject of how we can build fast, effective OTT offers. But we also want to keep this as interactive as possible with our audience. So if you have a question for DR, please submit it and we'll do our best to cover it in this session. Simply write your question in the comments section on the page. So shall we get started, DR?
Yeah, let's do it. This is awesome. It's early morning over here in Austin, Texas. This is a real background. And so I think you're talking to me from London. So it's great. It's great to see you and everyone from around the world. Yeah, right. Don't be shy. Let's get it going. Yeah.
We want as many questions as possible. DR's had a morning coffee, so we're ready to go. DR, as I mentioned, obviously we had Barcelona last summer, which was an unusual time to have the event as a one-off. But the whole industry, well, it's gearing up for MWC 22 at the end of next month. You are going to be attending. You'll be back in person. I think you've got a talk. We're having a CloudNet track session. And I know you're speaking in that. Give us a bit of a sneak peek as to what your message will be this time around.
So I love MWC. I mean, it is a great show. It's the premier event of our industry. And like you said, last year we got a treat. We got to go to Barcelona in June, which by the way, was amazing. And we had, a great time. I think I quite famously took over an iconic booth. And we built Cloud City and really brought the conversation about the public cloud into our industry. And I was really pleased to see that the GSMA put out as one of the themes for this year, CloudNet. And really lucky and honored to have the opportunity to speak again. I'm speaking on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Barcelona time. I'm opening up a session. So it's an hour-long session. I think it's 2 speakers with a panel. And I'm the kickoff speaker. So tons of pressure to kick it off with a bang. You know me, it's going to be about the public cloud. It's going to be very raw about the public cloud. We're putting together the messages, but I'm really trying to get it from, last year, my talk was about the paradox of the public cloud. There's 2 sides to it, but you should go ahead and take the leap. I'm trying really to sort of shape the message around how do you start that journey and what are the things you can do today? And, again, encouraging CSPs to take that leap and get going. So we're working on it now, working on the slides, and I'm super excited. I'm a feature exhibitor at MWC. And so you can see me in the app. You can see me on the website. So I have 3 companies participating. There's TelcoDR, there's Totogi, which we're going to talk about in a second, and then my acquisition vehicle, which is Skyvera. And so I'm psyched to go to Barcelona. The restaurants are amazing. And so I'm psyched. So let's go do it, and we're going to have a great time.
You also need to figure out a way to bring dragons back into your appearance this time, dear.
I'm always trying to come up with like fun ways. I mean, people don't want to just like blah, 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 listen to me talk. And so I'm like, how can I make it fun and interesting? And last year, like you said, I had my dragon that I flew off on in my talk, which was so funny. But yeah, we're trying to come up with something interesting and cool and funny and fun. So yeah, for sure.
Look forward to it. A few surprises, I'm sure, coming. So, talking of Barcelona, last summer, as you said, DR, you launched your software startup, Totogi, which you're acting CEO of at the moment. For anyone that missed the memo, tell us a little bit about what Totogi is all about.
Yeah, Totogi is my startup that we're really trying to change the way telco, like you said at the beginning, sort of telcos do business. And today, the software of our industry, and I'm really sort of talking like the IT side and the BSS side, less the network side, because I don't really spend a lot of time talking about that. But on the BSS side and especially the charging side, right? We are burdened, CSPs are burdened with slow, inflexible, expensive systems. And so things that should take, hours to do or days take months and years. And so I think the people that are really frustrated with these systems have got to be the CMOs of this world that have all these great ideas, who are trying to react to market pressure, either OTT or maybe even just the next door competitor in their market. And they're trying to put out plans more quickly and ideas more quickly and try to retain customers and grow the ARPU and get new customers. And everything is thought of in cycles of 6 months. Right. And, they really, you got to have the idea 6 months in advance. It's not very reactive. And so I feel sorry for the CMOs, like CMOs, my buddies out there. You guys are just trying to like make do, and you're really handicapped and hamstrung by the systems that we have today. And so what I'm trying to do is, rethink that whole software approach. And we have this really amazing enabling technology that's come around. It's not new. I mean, it's new to us, but it's been around for 15 years. It's battle tested. It's time to come to telco. And with the public cloud, I think we can really radically speed up the way that we put out ideas to market. And I think the telcos that embrace this, again, there's risks in any big technological shift, but the telcos that really understand the power of the public cloud will be able to just put out their ideas in minutes and hours and days, and it's just going to rock the world. And super, obviously, very excited about it. I think it's a really, really great idea, and I think I'm onto something awesome. And so, everyone I talk to loves what we're doing, and so I'm super excited about it. So yeah.
So yeah, and on that, let's talk about what Totogi is doing in the real world, DR. Can you give us some examples of how telcos are using OTT offers to drive revenue streams from their subscribers?
Yeah, so I'm seeing it over here in the United States. It's not necessarily a new idea, but you look at the data and smartphones keep growing, 5G is coming out, latency is going down. Most people use their phones to stream content. It might be video mostly, it could be music. And so you see CMOs out there trying to combine OTT or streaming offers with some other idea. And so they bundle these ideas together. For example, in the United States, T-Mobile has an offer for Sprint customers. We'll throw in the iPhone 13. We'll give you a year free of Apple movies, and come join us at T-Mobile. And it's a commercial. And so you see them all over the place, and it's pretty easy for a tier 1 in a G8 country to pick up the phone and get Apple to do a deal with them. But I think it's a little bit different if you're in a smaller country or a smaller player. And so we started talking to CMOs and telcos about this, and we're like, oh, we have this really great idea to help you solve that problem. So I think a lot of people do it. People want to do it more quickly. And so we had this really great idea around OTT offers, and I'll tell you about it in a second.
Yeah, I mean, how long does it take so with your offering, how long does it take, how has it changed things? I mean, how long is it going to take with
Yeah.
a Totogi platform DR compared to the kind of legacy business model that they've been using?
Yeah, so typically the way it works in every telco today, let's start with what we're dealing with today. And it kind of ties back to my point of things are slow, things are inflexible. You have these ideas, you want to experiment and get them to market, see if it works. And it's just so hard to get things done inside a telco and really service those customers and bring what I always talk about, which is customer love, right? And so today, the marketing department has an idea. We want to go get a partnership with Apple or Netflix or, Amazon, music or whatever it is. And the marketing department has to go call those guys up and create a deal, right? Partnership deal. They exist. They have these partnerships, they have these arrangements, but you got to go negotiate it. You got to get them on the phone. They don't really pay attention to you. We talked to a telco that had been trying for years. They were in a small Eastern European country and just couldn't get Apple on the phone. The second part that makes it hard, so that's like the first part, like just getting the deal and getting the partnership. The second part that makes it really hard is you then need to integrate it technically, right? You actually have to make it all work with your system. And so there's the first part, which is designing the offer and putting it into your product catalog and getting it out to customers. That's not too hard. But then once the customer says, yeah, I want to add to cart and I want to check out and I want to buy that thing, now you got to call out to Apple and integrate to, get the deal to them. And that, it's not impossible, but it's on the list of IT priorities. It's, 100 lines of code, 200 lines of code. Someone has to go code that up. Now, that's happening for every partnership. That's happening for every telco. And so we had this idea, which is we can create a little network effect here where we can go sign up partnerships as Totogi and people can just use our partnership. It's like a catalog. You can just pick and choose. I want a little bit of Netflix. I want a little bit of Apple Music, throw in some HBO Max. I want to do a travel deal with a hotel partner. Experiment, right? And those deals are off the shelf. You just use the Totogi negotiated deal. So that takes care of that first part, right? We just, boom, done. It's ready to go. Just use it. And then the second part that we've done is we reduced the integration process down to one time, 4 lines of code. That's it. 4 lines of code. We give you the code, right? You don't have to hire an SI. You don't have to find a developer. We're like, here you go. Just use them. You can do it yourself. I don't even need my consulting team to do it. I'm like, just insert it. If you want our help, we're happy to help you, but here you go. And every time you call out, that's when you pay us. We take a little bit off the deal because the partners pay you to send them customers. And so like Apple, it depends on the country. The deals are kind of different by the country. But, Apple will pay $15 for an Apple Music subscription. And so these guys are paying you to do it. And so it's like free money. You guys have the subscribers. You know how to get those insights of how they're using the phone, who's using music, who's doing video. Put out these cool offers to attract your subscribers, increase your ARPU, reduce churn, delight them. And we've made it something that you can do in a week. You can experiment, see if it's working. Oh, Apple's not working, let's switch it to Netflix. Or I don't want to do streaming, I want to focus on my roamers and do some sort of travel deal. And you don't have to go through all this rigmarole, and we just streamlined it. And when we talk to CMOs about this, they're just like, holy cow, like that's it? I'm like, that's it. You just use it. And it's just completely changed all the struggle. I mean, CMOs, they just want to put out their ideas and they just need to experiment and see what's working. And it's just so hard to do business with the systems we have today. And the great thing about Totogi is, I'm not asking you to rip out your Amdoc system or whatever BSS system you have. We are compatible with it. You just insert these 4 lines of code and you're off to the races. And so we're really trying to focus on helping telcos experiment and get ideas to market and, delight customers, because that is the value. I mean, I know everyone thinks the value of the telco is the network. I think those are table stakes and sorry to say it, a little bit of a commodity. The key is the relationship with your subscribers and getting your NPS up into the 60s and 70s. And when you can do that, you don't have to worry about shrinking ARPU. I mean, it's just going to be, people are going to be your biggest fans, and it's going to be amazing.
DR, you mentioned a lot of brands there, a lot of potential content partners there. I mean, in your experience so far, and I know that Totogi's, still officially under a year old, I think. What partnerships have actually been the most popular? What are you seeing resonate?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. We went and got a bunch of different partnerships. We didn't know really what. My bad, something just fell. But it's okay. It's not going to fall.
We're definitely live. You just proved
it's definitely live. It's a foggy day, and we have this background stuff, and we took it off, but maybe not all of it. Anyways, so yeah, when we decided to go get partnerships, we didn't know what CMOs were going to be most attracted to. So to be honest, we just went out and got a whole smattering. We got some content deals, both video and music. We got food delivery, we got travel, we got tickets, like event concert, like Ticketmasters on our platform. And we kind of just got a bunch of everything. But then we started talking to CMOs, and really what they've honed in on is the streaming, the content stuff, and really the video things. And I saw on LinkedIn, might as well plug them. I saw on LinkedIn, there was this little infographic of how people use their smartphones. And it's like 49% are using their time on their smartphone is used for streaming content. So that really resonates with what CMOs are experimenting with and what people are really using their phones for. I mean, I personally am not a big streamer. I don't go out into the wild and watch Ted Lasso randomly, right? That's not me. But my kids watch YouTube, all the time on their phone. And so maybe that's that demographic that's speaking. And so I think that's number one. They're really focused in video and music, and probably more video than music. And then number two, they're really interested in the marquee brands. And really, we get a lot of adoption and interest in the Apple partnership. I'll be honest. I think for a challenger brand telco in a country that isn't let's say a G8, putting the Apple brand next to your name, next to your plans, elevates the value of your brand. And so they want to be able to say, hey, we're a partner with Apple. And my partnership just sort of accelerates that. And so in my example earlier in our talk, this Eastern European telco had been trying to get Apple on the phone for 4 years. And they're like, I see you have an Apple partnership right there. Can we use that? And we're like, oh yeah, totally. It's super easy. And they're like, okay, we want to use it right now. We're like, okay. And it's kind of how this idea kind of came about. I mean, we weren't really thinking about this idea, and it's just sort of taken off to the races like wildfire. People really, really like this idea. And so here we are talking about it. It's amazing.
We're talking about it, and we also asked our audience for questions, DR, and we're getting them. We've got 2 or 3 coming through already. One of our viewers asks, what if a CMO watching wants a partnership that you don't currently have? Will you guys go out and get it?
We will. So this happened in Latin America. I was talking to a telco in Puerto Rico. This is maybe, I don't know, in October or whatever. And there was a regional streaming content provider focused in Latin America called, I think it's Pacayo. I think I'll get it wrong. And they're like, can you go get this a partnership? Now, I haven't really changed the length of time it takes to go get a partnership. Still takes months, right? And so, we started working on it. I think we were in the final stages of signing it, but we're like, yeah, we'll add whatever you want. So there's a regional player, we'll add it, and we'll add it to the platform, and anyone can use it. And so, yeah, just give us ideas and we'll go get them. It's really easy.
Good stuff. Another question. What if a telco doesn't know how to push out these offers effectively? I guess wanting to know what kind of support you might offer there, Danielle.
Yeah, so this is actually a big problem. People don't know how to bundle these and message them. And so I have a great guy on my team, Hakan Dursan, he was ex-CMO of a tier 1 telco out of Turkey. He and his team go in and will advise a CMO on how to design the offers, right? We start with understanding what's your primary goal. What are you trying to achieve with this offer? Are you trying to attract people? Are you trying to stop churn? Are you trying to, get more roaming revenue and bundle that in? And so we start with what are you trying to achieve? And then from there, we're like, okay, let's figure out the right partnership that we should use and then the right design. And it's great. I mean, a really good example, a lot of these things is you'll bundle it in with free data. So like, for example, if you're going to do a content streaming offer, you're like, whenever you're using Apple Music, we'll let you stream for free. Now that does cost the telco some money, right? There's a cost of the free, gig of data or whatever it is. But remember that partner is paying you for that referral. And so, it just sort of eats into that fee. And so maybe instead of $15, at the cost of a gig of data for you is, $1 or $2, you take it out of that $15. Okay. So now you're getting $14 instead of $15. But still, it's net positive and it's super awesome. Customers are clicking on it. It's totally great.
DR, we've had a great question from a viewer, Dara Grealish, who asks you, in your opinion, who has to be convinced first to get the CMOs in the CSPs to change? Is it the big legacy system integrators and consulting groups, and then because of that, you can then convince the CSPs to change? Or can the CSPs be convinced directly to build out over-the-top offerings on the cloud, even if the SIs and the consulting groups are not supported?
What's so great about my system is I want those SIs to code with Totogi, right? I'm like, you guys do it. I'm not going to fight you for the consulting revenue. So everyone should learn how to code with Totogi and build all these solutions. So I'm actually aligned to the SIs. I'm like, you guys go do it. It's awesome. But back to your, the original question here in terms of who needs to be convinced. I don't think really anyone needs to be convinced. I think CMOs are really frustrated with the pace that they can put out these ideas, and they're really hamstrung by the systems. I think CIOs and CTOs know exactly the problems with the current BSS offerings. They're slow, they're inflexible, they're expensive. Things that should take hours, take days, takes weeks, takes months, sometimes years. And they're just they're frustrated too. I mean, their business partners come to them and say, I have this great idea. I think it's going to be, we're going to be able to put Apple right next to our name on this offer. The response back is, give me 6 months. And you're just like, oh my God. Right? I'm just trying to make our business better. And so I don't think people really need to be convinced. They want to do this and they want to move faster. And Totogi does that. SI shouldn't be fighting me. I'm sure Amdocs is we're not really psyched that you're replacing things that we'd like to do. But I'm like, hey, Amdocs, you want to code with Totogi? You guys can code with Totogi too. Sure they won't, but I welcome them.
DR, it's been short and snappy. It has been great talking with you. Unfortunately, we're out of time. But
I know, that was so fun.
Yeah, and obviously, you're clearly very passionate about this market. So we do look forward to following future progress. And I guess next stop is Barcelona, of course. We're only 4 or 5 weeks away.
Yeah, if you're in Barcelona, come find me. I'll be easy to spot on Wednesday at 11, and I'll be handing out little gifts. So definitely come up and find me. I hope to see everyone in Barcelona. Can't wait.
Thank you very much, DR.
Awesome.
It's been great talking with you. And of course, thanks to our audience. It was great to get some interaction and some good questions too. We'll see you all again very soon. Thank you, DR. And
awesome.
Thanks to our audience. Goodbye, everyone.
See you guys.
There is a place where tomorrow happens, where the world gathers to reconnect, reimagine, and reinvent, where business gets done and relationships are built, where the new is revealed and the next is nurtured. This place is where connectivity is unleashed. This place is MWC Barcelona. Be here, be together, be connected.